Hey, what's up, my friends? John Hiley here with the Tactical Dent Tech YouTube channel and also the Tactical Dent Tech Facebook group. So here we go. We're going to be working on this extremely damaged bedside dent. We actually ended up doing both sides, but for the sake of time, this is going to be a 40-minute tutorial. So I chose the worst side to be the example. And you can see here it's actually bent in all the way through the top of the bed. That's kind of it is a structural area. And we're going to be initially working this structural area up before we start tackling the actual dent down here that was buckled into the panel. As I stated, both sides are actually damaged. What happened was a fifth wheel trailer was connected and it fell off and it damaged both sides of the bed. This side was deeper than the other side, and you guys can kind of see my initial setup there. Well, first off, we're going to go ahead and protect the bed because this thing pulls so hard. This is a cam auto setup. So we've got some cam auto tabs and we've got a cam auto puller here, bridge puller. You guys are going to get an opportunity to see how much glue I actually put on this. And so this is the beginning. I really wish I had a collision glue gun, but right now I'm using my actual glue gun from Anson. This is the one that we use for traditional glue pulling, whether it's rails or dents. It is a cordless glue gun, but a collision glue gun could actually pump out more glue. And a lot of times when you're using these big tabs, you're also, there's times we'll use lateral tension as well with a bridge puller. And those times you always wish that you had a glue gun because it's like once you glue it up, you got to kind of wait for it to heat up again. So that way you could begin using it. Now, so what I'm going to do is actually glue the edges. So I seen some of the gaps around the edge where the glue that I put in the middle of the tab just didn't fill it all the way to the edge. I even do a little bit of overlap, and I'll give you guys a shot of what this looks like here in just a moment. But I tend to overlap a little bit on the top of the tab, and I'll go all the way around and just make sure this bad boy is glued in. Now I am using some collision glue here. So this is the red collision glue from Galexo. And one of the things that makes collision glue different is that it's going to have a longer pull time. It usually, and in this case it does, it takes longer to set up, but it actually gives you a longer window where it will remain pullable. Because if this glue, traditional glue, it will, in a sense, cool down so quickly that it'll get brittle and then it will just crack off. Collision glue is designed to kind of withstand the setup. So right here, see how I kind of overlapped the top of the tab all the way around the edge, got all of that pumped in there so that way we can get a good pull. Now this is exactly how these collision tabs work. This particular brand, I'm going to slide a rod right here in the middle. And you can see, I mean, it is completely uneven. One of the cool things, you can obviously see where you need to pull, right? So the lowest part is what we're actually going to start with. And you can see here me getting my setup. This is a bit of a difficult setup simply because it's so deep that the bridge puller almost didn't want to go down that low to actually hook into it. Especially when I'm trying to protect the edges with a couple microfiber towels. What the microfiber towels are doing, it's redistributing the pressure on the feet, because you really got to watch the feet on these giant bridge pullers, because the feet can make dents in the top of the bedside. And then, next thing you know, we got 3 dents to fix instead of 1. So I want to be very careful with that. But I got it hooked up. And you'll kind of see I'm pulling up here at the top. I will give you a shot on my next pull of what that looks like, but I'm actually hooking an impact gun to the top of the bridge puller. And that impact gun, the strength of the impact gun is actually what's doing the pulling for me. Now, this does have the ability to twist it up at the very top, to actually twist, to hand twist it, but ain't nobody got time for that. So you can, when I speed this up, you can really see how much of it's straightening up. But look at that. Look at it straightening up right there. That one right there. And I'm kind of not only pulling, but I'm also like tilting it back. It's got this tendency based on where my glue is to tilt forward. So as it begins to tilt forward, I'll do a little bit of pull, and I'll kind of pull it just by tilting it back. You can actually see the bridge puller, me tilting it. That's me doing that right there, tilting it to straighten it up. And look at the difference. Look at the difference of how low the center tabs were previously. If you want to rewind the video, as we would say, since I'm an 80s kid, you want to rewind the video and go back and take a look. You can see that those three in the center were way low, very low. And it just gradually pulls them until they start to straighten up. Now, did this get it 100%? No, it didn't. It's a very bad dent. I mean, it was put in by a fifth wheel crushing down on the bed. Couldn't even imagine what that scene looked like when it happened. So now you see me kind of going over to a couple of the other tabs that I'm deeming that are a little bit low on the front end of that dent. And this is where I'm going to take my final and biggest, actually not biggest, but my final pull. So here we go, tightening it up. Again, I know that you guys can't see the top of this bridge puller, but just hang tight. It's an impact gun, and I've got another pull that we're going to take with it where I have the camera back a little bit further, and you're going to be able to actually see that. So here we go. I'm cranking it up. Now, this is also a good way to actually get the tab off the panel, because once you glue these things down with this collision glue, there we go. See how it ripped it up? If you go to one side or the other, it will tend to lift the tab with the collision glue. And so here we go. I am going to pull the pin out and then get some alcohol underneath there. This is 99% alcohol. You order this stuff off of Amazon.com. Just type in 99% alcohol. Do not try to use the 92 or whatever the heck it is, because it will not work. You will be trying to peel this stuff off all day long. Years ago, we used to use denatured alcohol, and for whatever reason, everybody thought that it would create some sort of health issues, and there's this, which I believe to be quite a rumor, because if you read the health issues of touching 99% alcohol, it's very similar to denatured alcohol. But now you can buy 99% alcohol, Amazon.com, for like $20 a gallon or something like that. It's very cheap, very inexpensive. And it's even cheaper than buying denatured alcohol. So really 99% works well. But look at the difference in this pull compared to what we had before. And so now I'm gonna say this because I'm going to attempt to take another pull. Now, I could have left this out of the tutorial, but I wanted to keep it in here because I really don't want you guys to think that every single move that I make on a dent necessarily works out, because it doesn't. There's a lot of times, I'm putting this on at an angle, fully aware that it's going to be hard to put the bridge puller on at this angle, but I'm still going to give it a shot, because if I can get a nice pull at this particular angle, it's going to save me, quite a bit of work, whether I'm pushing or I'm doing some additional glue pulling. So it would save me a lot of work. But I really want you guys to, especially, if you're a dent technician, you already know there's things that we do that do not work. There's times that we put the glue tab on and it doesn't pull anything. And my objective here is to give, anybody who's new or anybody who's just exploring, collision repair damage, that I don't want you guys to have some sort of false idea. It's almost like that thing where you look on social media and all you see is people's highlight reels, right? And, you see these people that seem to be like the perfect couple, and they're on vacation all the time, and next thing you know, you hear they had a divorce, right? And so I don't want you to get that idea when it comes to paintless dent removal, because there are times. I mean, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I am learning all the time. I'm learning from other technicians. I'm learning from mainly my mistakes. And now what I will tell you is it's a beautiful thing, and this is going to be some hope for some of you that just may be starting paintless dent removal. It's a beautiful thing that them mistakes just get less and less and less over time, and you get something called wisdom. Wisdom is so powerful. But look at the way that I've got this bridge puller on here. I've got it on here at this angle, and I'm trying, y'all. Look, I'm trying. And you see that I've got the impact gun at the top. This is one of the other reasons why I left this in here is I wanted you to see the impact gun action. But this is me thinking that I'm going to be able to balance this bridge puller decently on this edge. Now you notice I've got the microfiber towels down far enough where the feet are sitting on the edge of the microfiber. But what I'm really fighting here is the actual bridge puller. See how it's trying to buckle from left to right, or it's trying to slip off the edge? So I've got this situation here that the tighter that it gets, one side will slip, the other side will slip, and I'm trying to get a pull here, but it's just not giving me that much, because every time that I go in here and try to pull it, one of the feet will slip off, and you see that it's buckling. And I mean, that's a testament to this bridge puller, though. This bridge puller is strong. I've used it in some pretty interesting situations. This is Cam Auto, by the way. I've actually got the Cam Auto pull tower. I need to use it a little bit more often. So here we go. Now I'm just hooking up this to a slide hammer. I really wish that I had a slide hammer that I could have threaded on this hook that was much heavier. I've got some heavier slide hammers, but they're all fitted for glue tabs. And this would have been one that would have been quite interesting if I could have hooked up with a bigger, heavier slide hammer. But what you see here is this is an old Anthony Spencer slide hammer. And I believe his tool company is Dent Dynamics. He created a really cool knockdown that has you can put two different tips on it and use it from side to side. But that slide hammer was one of Anthony's original slide hammers. And so I just went to town slide hammering that spot. And guess what? We got a little bit of movement. Was it really worth all the time and effort? Was this, this attempt at trying to move the metal worth the time and effort? No, it wasn't. It didn't move it enough to be worth the time and effort. But this is real world stuff, y'all. You're always going to have things that slow you down. Nobody's perfect. There's guys out there that the more wisdom that you have, the more that you understand about the way the metal works, the more that you explore, the more that you educate yourself, you get wisdom. And that is invaluable. All right, that's me just kind of cleaning up. Look at all that alcohol, all that glue. And so now I'm going to just prep this one more time, get it cleaned up. I'm really trying to get off any little glue specks that might be left behind, because we're going to do some pulls here, but the worst time that you want any tiny little glue specks left on an actual repair is when you start doing your hammer and knockdown work, because the little glue sticks to the end of the knockdown, and then it acts like a little marker, transferring the little specks of glue everywhere because it's stuck on the end of your knockdown. And so you always want to have a clean surface area before you start doing your knockdown work. Take the time to clean it, or else you're going to wish that you did. So here, using the knockdown, this pink tip is from Anson Dent Tools. This was created for a pushing tip. And so it was created as a pushing tip to get into tight areas. And it's an incredible pushing tip. It's very hard to make it, like if you're using heat while you're pushing, it's hard to push through the tip. And it lasts forever, but I love this as a knockdown as well. And then what you're seeing me use is that zero gravity knockdown. That's by Dent Vision. You really can't see it as well, but I'm using the Dent Vision paddle. I got all this stuff at Anson PDR Tools, and one of the reasons why I love Anson so much is that, well, number one, they're not too far away from me. They're about an hour away. The second reason why I love them is they carry all kinds of different brands. And when they carry all kinds of different brands, you can kind of put together a purchase of a lot of different brands that you love that all do something the best. It's like for now, right at this current moment, I love the Dent Vision Knockdowns. I love that Dent Vision paddle. It's one of my favorite knockdown hammers. You can call it a hammer, call it a paddle, whatever you want to call it. And then I gravitate to their actual knockdowns. It's very nice. And you can kind of see my light setup down there. It's close enough where I can still see that big old crown wave, but far enough away where I can see the definition of the panel. I can see the contrast in the panel. And see, here we go. Now I'm actually using, this is a cobalt hammer, and this is from Lowe's. You can actually get these at Lowe's. I can't remember what ounce this one is, but it's not the smallest one. It's the second biggest, or the second smallest to the smallest. And what I love, it comes equipped with some tips on it that are made of rubber and plastic that you can use the weight of the hammer to really knock down some metal. I mean, this was a hard part of this repair, was doing all of this knockdown work from this giant crown that is running down the side of the truck. Huge crown. And you got to get this out. You got to get that crown out. Okay, still doing some knockdown work. This right here is my blending hammer on this one. Very nice hammer, by the way. It just, the plastic and the rubber that comes on the hammer, it does not mar the finish. At least if you use it just for painted finish. Now, if you go beat it up on something else, you might beat up the plastic to the point where you come back and it'll mar the paint. But as is, out of the box, my experience, it works incredibly well as a hammer knockdown for big dents. And here we go, just jumping in and doing some more knockdown work with the Dent Vision paddle and the zero gravity knockdown. And really, the knockdown in the hammer is for straight up precision. You know, when you're using that knockdown with the paddle, that's for precision. But you're trying to get big metal movements when you're using that big cobalt hammer. You're trying to get massive metal movements fast. So a lot of times, you know, you're going to find yourself switching in and out. In and out. All right, so now we're going in with the handy dandy. You already know it, the Atlas Titan football tab that I can tell you, for me, this is a time-tested tab. As of right now, I am using the VIP slide hammer. And again, this is the all-carbon fiber slide hammer. This is probably one of the nicest slide hammers that I've ever seen. It's expensive. I believe it's around $450 for this slide hammer. Beautiful slide hammer. I bought that at Anson PDR Tools, or you can head over to my friend Petor, who owns VIP Dent Tools. You can go to his website and buy it as well if you like it. He's probably got some of the best tips. VIP has all kinds of cutting-edge knockdown tips, including the original VIP that is a metal tip. This is one of the most precise tips that you'll ever use, and probably one of the top tips that I would ever use on aluminum hail repair. Something about stainless steel polished tip works so well with precision knockdown on aluminum hail repairs. All right, so going back in, hammering it out. Very good. And you see, I'm actually using the hard plastic tip on this right now. You see, the rubber tip on the other side is going to move more metal. That hard plastic end on that cobalt hammer is going to be more precise. It's going to move the metal with more precision, more accuracy. All right, here we go. You guys can see on this one, I'm still using that red collision glue. You know, I have found myself gravitating to this Galexo red collision glue. You know, when Galexo first emerged, they were one of the individuals who came out with, I believe they might have been the second company. I'll probably get in trouble for saying this because there's probably somebody out there who, you know, thinks that they should probably be recognized for being the first or the second company when they came out with cold glue. So what I'll say is they are the second company behind Sergio's, who came out with a cold glue, and they started sending a lot of their cold glue for me to test early on. And now Galexo has all kinds of different products. They make a lot of different things. I did a training on one of their newest cold glues, it's called the Galexo Diablo. A lot of people love it. I mean, I use it. Many of y'all know that I kind of favor the Sergio's Gold. This is just me being honest. I do favor the Sergio's Gold, but that's just me. That's my style. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that I would hold, for me personally, Galexo Diablo as my second strongest cold glue. And then I would hold Sergio's Gold as the number one, or let's just say the gold standard. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't try Galexo Diablo, because it's great. It's a great cold glue. Maybe that's your thing. It's a little harder to find Sergio's Gold. I believe they've run out of it quite often, but if you go to Dent Craft is carrying a lot of Sergio stuff. And so you guys have seen, if you haven't, go to my Instagram, go to Tactical Dent Instagram. I've got a video that hit like 7.2 million views. As of today's date, by far, it's the most viral video that I've had. And that was me just using Sergio's cold glue. Incredible cold glue. I've had some videos as well as using the Galexo cold glue, the Diablo cold glue. But them are my two go-to. And then I've also, you guys see me occasionally in these videos use Sergio's original slide hammer that looks like it's out of the Stone Ages, but I love it. I wouldn't give it up for anything. You cannot buy that thing off of me. And it has, believe it or not, it has the original cold glue from, I would say it's probably 10 years. He sent that to me 10 to 12 years ago. And I've got the original cold glue that I'm still using on the end of that giant mammoth of a slide hammer. Now you guys see me, I'm taking that Atlas Titan and I'm dropping it up here in that channel. I'm really hoping I can get a bite to move that channel up, because if I can move that channel up a little bit, then I will have released a lot of pressure from the lower side of that dent. And for many of you guys who ask, I want to say this repair probably took me, between both sides, I would say probably both sides took about 12 hours. Again, the other side is not as bad. The other side, I did something different though. I did use lateral tension when I took my initial pull. And if I was to go back in time and start this repair differently, I probably would have cranked up some lateral tension on it as I was taking my first pull. I probably would have, and I probably would have maintained it on there while I was doing the knockdown work. And that's just me being honest. Look, we're not all going to do things perfect all the time. We just strive, and I hope you know that's what this channel is about. This channel is about striving to become better. And it's a journey that me and you get the opportunity to take together, to where you can get better with me. I mean, there might be, listen, y'all, 6 months, a year from now, I might have a totally different repair method to do this because I am always looking for something better. I am always looking for a way to take out this damage faster, cleaner, more precision, and that's what makes paintless dent repair very interesting, especially over the last 10 years, is to watch the innovation that's happened, adapt to that innovation, and it's exciting, very exciting. So going in for another one of them channel pulls right there. Glexo, what you're seeing here, guys, as well as the cure time. Like, there's no cuts or edits in this particular part of the training. And although I had to edit some of it in and out because I'm not trying to do a 10-hour, 12-hour YouTube video. But here you are seeing the actual dry time on this glue, which I believe is a valuable. And listen, here's how I check the dry time. Like, a lot of times, guys, I will go up and start touching the edge of that glue. If it seems, you don't want it to seem too hot, obviously. If it's too hot, it'll just pull off without grabbing. And then right there, you see me touching the edge and that twist? That twist was to feel if there was any play. Now look at the mammoth of a slide hammer I just put on here. I actually got smart. I said I'm going to use a stronger slide hammer. Look at that pull. Look at that pull. That has two weights. It slipped off right there, by the way. And so I'm trying to line up so it doesn't slip off again. Bang, look at them pulls that slide hammer took. And so it's weighted on the back. So it's, number one, it's a big-ass slide hammer to begin with. The second thing, it's weighted on the back. I wish I had the company's name at the top of my brain, but I do not. This slide hammer was a pretty cool. It was actually sent to me as a gift. All right, so we're going to be using this tactical rod here. And you can see here I'm going to snap on the tactical handle onto the hub. These are the best handles. They're not bulky. They fit like a glove on these hub tools. And here we go. Now, here, I want you to notice this because I put this in there purposely. I've got a tool in there and a vice grip biting down on my other tool because these Ram bedsides, they give you enough room to actually push in there, but there's nowhere to leverage. And there was times in the past, guys, I would hook a chain up into one of the cavities and all these things. This is the best setup. Slide one of your tools through there. And look at that. Look at the pushes that I'm getting. You guys see the flex that's happening on that rod? I mean, and this is a stainless steel, big-ass, rod. And I am getting massive amounts of push. When you see me pushing down, putting all my weight behind it like I'm riding a little scooter or something like that, you are actually seeing me push up on the top of the bedside. That channel that I was going in there and glue pulling, I'm able to get this soft tip on the end of that channel and push up. Now you're going to see me actually twisting into the dent, like doing a left twist. And what I love about this setup, I mean, look at the whole bed bending down. Look at the bed just bending down. This is me putting all of my weight behind my pushes. Listen, y'all, if I did this with just my arm muscles, I would be wiped out in like 5 minutes. You got to put yourself in position when you're doing this level of pushing to with this level of damage where you let a little bit of your weight take over and do some of that pushing for you. So this is me using my whole body weight. I'm not using my arm strength. You don't even see my elbows really bending. Like if you go back and you play that stance where I was showing you my stance and how I was pushing. And yes, that's the reason why I showed you these things, is because I want you to understand that I'm not using my arm strength. There's a lot of times where I do not use my muscle strength as much as I use my body weight. And I mean, this is for everything, y'all. You can find ways that you can push and you can put your body weight behind it. Works out incredible. Because you definitely, and I still contribute this because you know what? I face back pain. I faced back pain my whole life. And there was a comment the other day on one of my trainings where I talked about that. And he actually recommended that I go see a, like a specialist or something like that. Not a personal trainer, but not a personal trainer, not a nutritionist, but a physical therapist. There we go. And so I actually looked into that, pulled out old ChatGPT, had a conversation with ChatGPT, and the dude was right. And so the dude was right. And they give you some core exercises that actually help with the back pain. And this is something that I am considering doing. But I will tell you that if I pushed with my arms and relied on my muscles to do the pushing, I would be in incredibly terrible pain all the time, because I do dents like this all the time. I mean, I do big nasties, and I mean, this takes everything you got. So you got to be able to put your weight behind it. I mean, even if you look at a hail damage technician pushing on a roof, put your weight behind that giant Carbon Tech rod and let your weight do the pushing for you. Don't do it with your arm. I mean, you'll do a little bit with your arm here and there, but, make sure that anytime that you can compensate them pushes with the weight of your body, that you're doing that. Very nice little pushes here. And now I'm breaking out the big dog right here. So this is a Porta Power. This is just a regular Porta Power I bought off of Amazon.com. Yes, it came with that giant rubber tip. And yes, that giant rubber tip was cut into big time by the edge of the bed, but it safely brought up the edge of this bedside. Now, again, if I was to go back, really, because the other side I did it a little bit different. I actually did this side first, then I did the other side. Well, the other side, I actually put the Porta Power on it while I was taking the bridge puller and bringing it up. And also, I put the Porta Power on it, while I was, right at the beginning, while I was doing the lateral tension and using the bridge puller. And so if I was to go back in time, I probably would have slapped this bad boy on there when I was doing everything else at the beginning. But this right here is straightening up the back side of the bed. And also, guys, I love that you can watch this and learn from my mistakes. And know that I've been doing it for this long, and I'm still, every day, every repair is teaching me. That's the beautiful thing about it. You can get better every day. I just want to show you guys that I've got the heat gun on it now because I'm going in with a sharper tip. And as I begin going in with the sharper tip, I'm doing a little bit more knockdown work from a distance. I normally don't show this angle since my pants are always falling off, but, hey, there it is. I got one of them bodies, man. The whole time growing up, my mom would say to me, "You ain't got no butt." And guess what? That's probably why I got back pains. And probably why I need a physical therapist. They're probably going to have me in the gym doing some. This is going to be so sad, guys. If this happens, I'm going to video it. They're probably going to have me in the gym doing freaking girl butt exercises. So here I am, this big dude. I go lift in the gym. I go to some pretty, meathead gyms, right? And I'm going to be over there, with a 45-pound plate doing hip thrusts or something like that. It's going to be a bit embarrassing, but you know what? If it keeps my pants from falling off and makes my back better, I'll be all right. Always trying to bring a little humor to you guys here on these trainings. You know what, though? If you can't laugh about yourself, who can you laugh about, right? So notice that I am going, again, back in using the yellow tip on the end of this hammer. You guys can see my pockets flipped inside out too. That's because my phone is sitting up here on the tripod. And of course, I pulled it out. I mean, this was taken with my phone, with a brand new iPhone, by the way. This I have professional grade video equipment, but the batteries don't last very long on it, and so it's always got me nervous, thinking the batteries are going to die. SD cards fill up fast, so I'll be just using the iPhone. All right, y'all, and here we go. Now I am going to be buffing this area out. This is after a 2000 grit wet sand. For whatever reason, I didn't catch that on the video. This is, believe it or not, this is the first time. You guys have seen a lot of videos of me using this flex buffing tool. But this is the first time I used it, and I believe that I am trying to use a cutting pad or a pad that's not a cutting pad. Now, it's wool, but that kind of fooled me a little bit because I figured since it was wool, it was a cutting wool, but I believe it's a polishing wool. So it's taken me a little bit longer to get them 2000 grit wet sand marks out. But what this also does, this takes care of the area that we were just working on. Because if you're going to work on an area, you're going to be using all kinds of knockdowns. You're going to be putting alcohol on it, stripping all the wax off of it, all these things. Giving it a nice polish is an incredibly good thing anyway. But to boot, this was such a tough repair that it actually needed a little 2000 grit wet sanding on it. And this is Koschemi, by the way. If you use Koschemi products, they're the best in the world, I'm telling you. They are absolutely incredible. So the brand of this tool is a Flex. And the cool thing about it is you guys are going to see I'm using it with this 1-inch buffing pad. But it has a quick release where I can snap out this buffing pad and I can move it to a 3-inch orbital. So it will change into an orbital, which is just freaking awesome. And Koschemi, what I love about this, even their cutting compound has a high gloss, very high gloss. Now they've got a second and a third step, a lot like the old 3M, except like 100 times better, guys. Like if you're still using the old 3M, like ditch that stuff. This stuff is all body shop safe. Doesn't have any issues in a body shop, just like the 3M stuff. But it just works so much better. And at the cutting level has such a high gloss that it's just noticeably different than using 3M products. And the cool thing is you can buy it off Amazon. So they got this product on Amazon, and I can have it shipped to me, and usually it will be there the next morning or even 2 days to the next morning. But this cutting compound is so good, so good. And I will tell you, I bought a pack of these pads, and because this is the first time using it, I'm using this wool pad. I have found that there's a cutting foam pad in there that works better. So this is actually a cutting foam pad that I'm using here. And then this is the 3-inch orbital function on this flex tool. Again, this right here, if I was to pick one tool that I had to have, it'd be this. I probably would add some batteries. The tool, my purchase came with 2 batteries. But I do find the batteries do not last as long as like a Milwaukee battery or something like that. So I actually will probably end up buying a couple additional batteries for this particular tool just because I love it so much. I love it because that 1-inch buffer is just great. Most of the times, guys, we're not buffing full panels. We're not wet sanding and buffing the full panel. So that 1-inch buffer is great. And then if I want to slide on this 3-inch orbital, I'm back in business. I'm using the orbital now. Oh, and it's got a 1-inch sanding pad. You can actually, if you wanted to sand with this thing, you could use that 1-inch pad. Now, some of you guys use Toll Cut, and I've got Toll Cut as well. Toll Cut, they come in squares. I don't know if Toll Cut makes them in circles, but they come in squares. But what I have found is on that 1-inch buffing for the flex tool, that 1-inch buffing receiver, you can actually just put a square Toll Cut on there, and it'll work. All right, so right there is where we're at so far. Now you guys are seeing the nitty-gritty. The little, fix a little dot, poke a little dot, fix a little dot, fix another little dot, fix another little dot. This is one of the lengthiest parts of the actual repair is the finishing. So what I'm going in there with a PDR Finesse Mark Zirkus rod, and I'm using the 48-inch rod, so I've got massive amounts of leverage. And this is me just cleaning up this bedside edge, one tiny little push at a time. What I like to call this part of paintless dent removal, and if you're not doing this, you're probably not taking on deep, complex damage, because this is just part of the game. This is the cleanup work at the very end of a repair, where the better that you can play this aggressive game of connect the dots, whether you're pushing or tapping, the better that you can play this aggressive game of connect the dots, the better the finished outcome is going to be on your repair. I mean, this is the shebang right here. It's like the last 10% takes as much time as the first 90%. So lots of little pushes, lots of strenuous, I know you guys can't see me, but I'm standing way back. I'm moving my head up and down. I'm looking at it from all these different kinds of angles, trying to catch little lows, trying to do this finishing work to the point that when I'm done, you won't be able to tell that the damage ever happened. Now, this is one of the deals that when the client dropped it off, I did tell him that I would do my best. There's no way I was going to spend all this time on this and not, number one, not do my best, but also not get, I didn't want his expectations to be so high that, them expectations couldn't be met by anybody. So I told him, I said, I can do the best that I can on damage that's this bad. Now, it came out great. It did come out. You'll see it here in just a little bit. It came out great. He was very satisfied. But I am very particular. For me to say that it was perfect would be crazy. I mean, in his eyes, it was perfect. In most of the people's eyes that seen it, they felt like it was perfect. But I could promise you something. You take me one of these jobs, I don't even care if they replace the bedside, and bring it to me, I will find imperfections all over it. If it's been repainted, it's going to have imperfections, period. And so I would say that this has way less, saving the factory finish, way less imperfections than if it was done at a body shop. Certainly if it was bondoed. If somebody, pulled this out, used the bondo method, put the filler in there, painted it. And this isn't me hating, by the way, guys. I've grown up in a body shop. I know that sometimes that needs to be done. But I'm just telling you, y'all out there, the whole world out there, that at repairs at this level, to say they're perfect or flawless, like you couldn't find from any different angle, you couldn't find, and you put different lights on it, any flaws. The key is, the most important thing is that when the client sees it, they are extremely happy. And this client was an extremely happy client. And that, my friends, is success. Got to get to the level that you please people. You got to get to that level. Worst thing in the world is not pleasing the client. For me, it is anyway. That's like second to if you can't fix something. There's times as paintless dent removal technicians, we try to fix something and it just doesn't work out. You can't fix it. And I always tell the client that, right? I always try to, under-promise and over-deliver. But it is the saddest thing in the world, bro. Like, even if you tell them that there's a potential chance that you can't fix it, the look in their face is like, they understand. They're not mad at you. They don't hate you, any of that. But it's this sadness that's hard to explain. And I fight my whole life to avoid that moment. Thankfully, I can't even remember the last time. And I put myself in some pretty hairy situations over the last year or two. Primarily the last year, I've done some pretty crazy advanced stuff, and it's just worked out. So there we go, doing some knockdown work. I need to actually record one that I fail on and give it all that I got and then bring that out. I bet that video would go viral. And it would probably give people just a little bit of relief knowing that everybody's human. Yeah, I don't think that's, man, It's a bit embarrassing, though, you know? It's a bit embarrassing to show that. So I guess I got to get over it. I got to do one. I got to be like the first guy that does one, right? Maybe explain why it doesn't work out. But here on this one, my friends, today, right here, right now, it's working out. I promise you. So here we go. This is the nitty gritty, by the way. You see that I'm actually still working in that channel. Y'all didn't see a lot of it, but a lot of my pushes with that soft tip, that first rod was down deep in that little channel. Because the more that I pushed up that channel and got it perfect, the more tension that it released from the actual bedside. And right there you have it, my friends. Everything installed, back on, good to go. I'm purposely showing you this in probably the toughest reflection that there is in the world to please. That is when a car is sitting inside of a garage and the outside is bright and sunny and you've got these crazy reflections. But now look at it when you look at it here in the sun. Look at that. Look at that. And, you know, again, like I said, I wouldn't call this perfect, but I'd say for what it was, it's pretty damn good. And then right over here is the other side, my friends, that I was talking about. I might as well show you the finish on that. Probably need to do the before sometime. But as usual, I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one.